Welcome back, everyone. Now it's earned a reputation as the world's most dangerous mountain thanks to incredibly steep peaks, -40-degree temperatures and a notoriously fierce winds. But every year, climbers from across the globe do travel to Pakistan in the hope of conquering K2, the second highest mountain on Earth.
Having already scaled Everest and visited both the North and the South Pole, former banker Vanessa O'Brien wanted to take on the challenge. She's with us here this morning. Good morning to you. And this summer, you made history by becoming the first British woman to reach the summit and survive the descent as well. I mean, for those who we've heard of K2, we've heard of the biggest mountains in the world. What is it that makes K2 so dangerous?
Good morning. Thank you for having me on the show this morning. Well, there's a couple of things. First, I'd say one is location. K2 is in Pakistan. It's about a 100-kilometer trek to get to K2, so it's not easy to get to. It's shaped like a triangle, like how a child would draw a mountain. So literally like a triangle. And there's a lot of objective hazards. So when you're actually climbing K2, there's a lot of avalanche risk. Weather is very, very tricky. It's unpredictable. The winds at the summit, are about 100 kilometers, I think, on average when I looked during the summit months. Very, very hard to get a summit window of consecutive winds that are climbable, that are around 40 kilometers or less. So you've got avalanches, you've got crevasses, you've got unpredictable weather, high winds, deep snow. I mean, it's really everything that you could throw at you that would make it unclimbable.
I think the other one thing you've not mentioned is, of course, lack of oxygen as well.
Yes, because it's high altitude. That's right. So you're at 8,611 meters. So it's just 237 meters lower than Everest. So you're really kind of equal to Everest, but now so much harder to climb.
How did you make? I mean, there's one thing is the journey up K2, but you were a former banker. Just when did you leave banking?
2010, 9/10.
Okay, so many people leave banking and go on to do different things. What made you leave that banking industry and think, okay, Everest, the poles, and now K2?
Yeah, I think, well, that was the time of the Great Recession. I was watching people in Canary Wharf clean out their desks and stuff like that. So it was time to do something a little bit different. I was looking for a challenge and something goal-oriented, and at the time, someone had mentioned Everest, and I thought, well, Everest had happened then in 1953, but it was also happening now, or then in 2010. The question is, could I? Would I? I didn't know if I'd like it. I didn't know if I'd be any good at it. I didn't know if I could do it. In fact, I didn't think I could do it, but I knew it would take 2 to 3 years to learn, and that I could learn a skill like mountaineering. So I went down to New Zealand to train, and it took 2 to 3 years, of course, to properly learn something like that. And like any good stories, I failed first, trying to get to Camp 2 on Everest, and that's important because I think if you want success, real success, that you need a good douse of failure and a good piece of humble pie, which I did have. And that really taught me about high altitude, about hypoxia, the things I needed to learn about how the body adapts physiologically, the red blood cells, the acclimatization, things that you needed to know to go to high altitude, because it's a different, high altitude mountaineering is very, very different than regular mountaineering. We can all go hiking and have a good time, but if you want to go to 8,000 meters, as high as planes fly,
you've got to prepare.
You got to prepare.
It is quite extraordinary. Just tell us about that moment. I think these are your pictures when you made it. How did it feel?
Okay, well, when you're at the top, as a mountaineer, you're trained to know that that's only halfway. So that's, you're excited to be there, but it's taken 16 hours in this case for K2, 16 hours. And that 16 hours, you're battling 50-kilometer winds, 3 feet of snow, you're putting in fixed lines. It's precipitating while you're climbing, so that snow's coming at you. You're exhausted, dehydrated. This is not. You don't have to have fun. Maybe that's another way to say it. So this is really hard, and the whole time you're looking at that accumulated precipitation versus how much progress you're making toward the summit and wondering if you should turn around because of the avalanche risk.
Well, you didn't. You made it.
Yeah.
Massive congratulations.
Thank you.
Pleasure
Thank
to meet
you
the
very
first
much
British
indeed.
woman to get to the
Yeah.
top as well.
Thank
Thank you so
you.
much for coming on.
That is all from us today. We're going to be back tomorrow from 6. No, we're not.
No, breakfast will be. We say we, the collective we.
Breakfast will be.
Right now, though, it's the Country Pile Summer Diary. See you tomorrow.